Team Liquid is good. Let's do it. For the second time today, we are going to cast video games. We already did 2 very hyped best of 5s. I've got high hopes for tonight. I think tonight has a good chance. What servers are we doing? Same as always. I think CVC or coin toss for 5, but I think CVC West Central West is fair. Yeah, whatever. Oh, okay, we are on Central, so we whatever. So apparently they started on Central, which is fine by me. Or C or whatever Clem suggested. This is also fine. CW. Go. Too many C's and W's, guys. Too many C's and W's. I'm dizzy now. There's a lot of yapping happening in this lobby. What are we doing? CV. Yeah, okay, that's enough. That is enough. So actually my goal was to start off with a 3100 MMR match this week. But then I had Trigger telling me that he really wanted to play Clem, but ideally play as first match of the night. Now if Trigger wants to play, obviously we're going to try to make him play. This does mean that there is smaller prize money for these guys than for every other match tonight, but they were both completely okay with it. I think we've covered this many times. Of course Clem wants to win prize money, but above all, Clem is just a competitor. Clem likes to put on a show. Clem wants to play. So instead of a 3000 MMR match, we've got a 7000 MMR match. I'm not complaining. Let's go ahead and hop on into it. Map 1 will be played on Hellscape. Let's do it.
Let's get it on. Round 1. Fight.
In the top right side, we're looking at the main base of the man who will be battling the other member of Basilisk tomorrow afternoon. That is a series that a lot of nerds are excited for, as Clem versus Serral is your upper bracket finals of the Lulu Cup. I can't wait. Their first official match in 2025. That's going to be good. But I think this one is going to be good as well, as it's a rematch of the Monday night finals that we had. Representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. Hello, Alex. Yeah, I totally agree. I think this map is a banger. This is actually just a really solid map that I wish we had on the ladder. It's just way better, way more fun than King's Cove, Neon Violet Square. I think Abysso is the best of those 3 old ones, but I would prefer to play on something new. Something that looks pretty, feels new, feels nice. In the bottom left side, we're looking at the main base of the man who made it to the grand finals last Monday. What a run that was through that lower bracket, a couple of PvPs, and he even won the opening best of 5. This is Trigger. And as we have maybe a slow start to this PvP, I want to talk about something immediately. Since obviously there was some debate on the format that we used last Monday, and there's a good chance that we use a slightly different format this Monday. But the idea of like, oh, if you win 3 out of 5 maps, you should always win. It's so unfair to lose. Like, I think that's kind of silly. Because first of all, that could have happened at Home Stir Cup finals as well. But even if you look outside of Starcraft, I was looking at tennis today. And what's funny as well is that in tennis, you could basically lose the match while winning 12 more games than your opponent, right? If you play 5 sets, if you win 6-0, 6-0, but then you lose 7-5, 7-5, 7-5, what is that? That's like 27 to whatever that is, 25 to 21. So you win a bunch more games, but then you still be eliminated. Or 27 to 21 even. So you can win 6 more games, you can still lose a tennis match. I know that's a very extreme example, but I think extreme examples will also happen in StarCraft formats where, yes, you could win more maps and still not win the overall tournament or the overall competition of that day. I don't think that's necessarily a problem. That's just how I see it. Clem was playing Protoss with HeroMarine half an hour ago and won. I saw a little bit of that. Saw people talking about how Clem plays like MaxPax with zealots everywhere. I'm sure Gabe was loving that analysis from the chat. I know my man Gabe. And if there's anything that really gets Gabe going, it's his chat complimenting how well Clem plays with Protoss. I'm sure that made for a banger of a stream. Yeah, I mean, Runsky, that's obviously European, and it's completely fine, mate. Everybody has their own opinions on what they like. A lot of people hate the idea of a grand finals already starting with a lead. You know, that they just don't find that fun. They want the grand finals to start 0-0 and we take it from there, so. I get it. I personally have no issue with 1-0 in a best of 7 or just a 0-0 best of 5, no lead, but I kind of thought the idea of best of 5 into a best of 1 for all the marbles was fun. And yes, once in a very blue moon, somebody's going to win more maps and not win the finals. But I think all things considered, it was hype, it was fun. Indy agreed, Indy also liked it. Statfast, I think, is not in love with it, but we'll try some different things. Anyway, just want to get it off my chest as we're watching tennis. Sin is so good, by the way. So is Ben. Ben is also very good, but not good enough. Trigger is opening things up with a Twilight Council and Blink. I'm expecting a lot of Blink throughout this series. Clem is playing this one cautious. It's just a Reaper and a Hellion. Hasn't really committed to anything. Does have a Raven. A Raven is going to take the long way around. But since this is a pretty big map, it takes a long time before the Raven makes it into the natural. Overall, I don't hate this setup for Trigger. But it obviously, per usual, all comes down to execution. Yeah, that's it. Like, obviously that would be fun, Clockle. Best of 5 into best of 5. But the problem with that is that then gamers will be playing till 1:45 AM. And I think best of 5 into best of 5 grand final for a little one-day online cup where the winner gets $200. I think that's pushing it a little bit. I just think that's too much, you know. Even though it'd be fun for us, and technically for me as a streamer it's good. Because grand finals, great players, you have a lot of viewers. But I think then we're just exploiting the players a little bit too much. For like a home story cup grand final, I think it's a banger. Why not? For Stara Zagora, if they do double a limb, totally fine. But for a little one-day online event, it's pushing it a little. Thank you on the tanks for the 25 months. In 8 months, mate, I'll play Max for you. Gonna have to wait 8 months. So far, guys, Clem has really not gotten anything. Even the Raven hasn't quite committed. So that means that Trigger is going to be the one who's going to try to make magic happen first. I love how he split off one Stalker just to absorb a tank shot. Blinked at the rest on top of the tank. And Clem, honestly, in a bit of trouble. Trigger already flying in game 1. Losing the bunker is bad news for Clem. Losing the tank is bad news. Raven is going to do Raven things, so probes will die. I don't think the Trigger is mega worried. These two guys are friends, but they're not playing like they're friends right now. Yeah, exactly, PD Penguin. How many times did it not happen in the GSL format? But we'll talk about that soon. The Stalkers would love to have high ground vision. They get high ground vision. The Reaper grenade bounces everything all over the shop. Well, all I see is a lot of Stalkers. Now, the micro here is going to be very difficult. But Clem in trouble. We are 4 seconds away from stim, but we only have 4 Marines, a Reaper and a Marauder. And last time I checked, the Reaper can't even stim. Clem does push Trigger out for now. The Raven is still doing its thing on the other side of the map. But the man from Basilisk up 18 workers. Don't blink into the Widow Mines though. Whatever you do, do not blink into those mines. Clem has rebuilt his bunker. Spicy start to the Big Brain Bouts. I guess that's what happens when these two guys open up the night. Nice micro away from the bunker. Clem bleeds out more units. Seems like Trigger will not quite kill the Bull Champ here, but whew, big start. And guys, this game is on Central. This game is on Central. After this, we're going to play West-West before we go back to Central. Now, earlier today, Reynor won all 3 games on US West, and he lost the 2 games on Central. So, clearly, ping preference is not everything, ping advantage. But it's got to feel extra good to maybe take a 1-0 lead here. And I don't really see how Clem stops this, man. He does have triple CC. Maybe if Trigger becomes very sloppy, very messy. If the Widow Mines find good connections. But we even have an Immortal in the mix. That's what I love about Trigger. Trigger's always so aggressive, eh? Trigger always so aggressive. Is there 2 Widow Mines on the top side of the main base? That could become bad. Does the War Prism see it? War Prism! Widow Mines! He avoids it! He avoids it! Oh, the Prism avoids the 2 Widow Mines that were looking for it. That means that Clem now has to move all the units back into the main, which means the natural is wide open. A little bit of luck and a little bit of skill, but I don't think Trigger truly cares because he is doing his thing. There are Zealots dancing. I would have loved to see these units continue to battle. Seems that Trigger wanted to make sure he would not end up losing the Immortals. Prism now back on the low ground. We're going for a pure Stalker warp in, so all the micro potential. What's the Marauder count? 5. Another 2 Oh, that's so risky, by the way. That is no. And that is why. That is so risky. Trigger, mate. You pretty much had him. You had the world champ on the ropes. But if you've got him on wobbly legs, you have to put him away. Because Clem is Clem, and Clem can always turn things around. Well, we are battling, we are microing, but donating 2 full HP Immortals and a Prism is such a big deal. Clem moved the Widow Mines in a different spot, and Trigger is still in an okay position. But it's so much better to be cooking against Clem than being in an okay position. Ay, that hurts. That hurts. Trigger almost had him in game 1. And he's still in it, like, he's up 16 workers. He's got a 4th base completely saturated. So it's not that we should be very worried. But that is painful. Oh man, these guys are going to put on a show for us tonight. I can already feel it. Trigger runs forward now with just a couple zealots. These Widowmine connections are really good though. Clem is finding more and more victories. Clem has taken the supply lead. Widowmine drop in the 4th. Oh my. I mean, Clem is now just taking control of this game. I can't believe it. Trigger, you had him. You absolutely had him. Oh, that's so sad. That is so sad. He could have won this in different ways. Still has an army, and Clem does not have everything here, so maybe Trigger will take a better fight. Splits off a Zealot. That's good. That Widowmine connection didn't hurt that bad. We've got a Robo Bay, guys, so we could transition into Colossus. Trigger is having none of it. Trigger just wants to battle. He wants to continue battling, and he takes a much better fight. Clem's got a big army, but where is that big army then, Roddy? I don't know. It's a lot of Widow Mines in the 3rd, not really fighting. Another War Prism is going to die. Another Immortal dies. That is bad. Niels Bear. No, don't go to that mines. This is a bad area to go, Trigger. This is a bad area, mate. This is a very, very bad area. I don't think the Trigger should really be here. He simply does not have enough units. He doesn't have the immediate reinforcements. We're losing so many workers now. 2 auto turrets, 2 Widow Mines. We are losing workers everywhere I look. Trigger will still battle. What a first game. 11 minutes of basically non-stop action while we had a couple minutes of macroing. The Trigger can't stop battling. Does snipe that medevac. Finally takes care of those Widow Mines, but he has lost 34 probes and 2 prisms. Colossus on the way though, +2, close to finishing up. Still 4 bases against 3. Still finding some pickups in the center of the map. With the Colossus we have a much better answer against the Widow Mines. That Raven, by the way, has way too many kills. I'd love to take a little look at that Raven, but for now they are battling in the center of the map. I kind of think Trigger is okay here. As long as he keeps on warping in Stalkers, a couple Zealots, don't run all the Zealots into the Widow Mine, he should be okay. By the way, guys, this Raven, anybody want to guess how many kills on the Raven? Couple auto turrets. Don't worry, the Raven is a support unit. Couple auto turrets, guys. The winner is Ganunu. 20 kills on this Raven. Ay. 20 is a lot. Clem with a very weird... Oh, can we snipe a full medevac? We sniped the empty one. That's a bit sad. That was a very weird attack by Clem. I've seen a lot of attacks coming out of the World Champ, but I don't think I've ever seen the medevac mine attack. I must have missed some patch notes, guys. We do have a double drop in the natural as well. That is 6 Marauders, 2 Marines. If Trigger can deal with this, would obviously love to kill one of these medevacs. What a first game. What a first game. That Raven ain't done yet. 21 kills as we go. At this point, out of spite, I'd build a Stargate and a Phoenix. Just to get rid of this thing once and for all. Finally, you win something. You are a champion, mate. Ooh, Clem with a tiny bit of a move command there. A couple Widow Mines too far ahead of the rest of the party. Trigger does a really good job in punishing him there. Wipes in 5 Zealots. It's a game. I mean, Clem is closing in on 2-2 though. And he is getting a 4th base. And we really don't want to play against the 4 base Clem. I don't know how Clem's Widow Mines do it. But they keep on finding every single War Prism. This does seem like a good fight at first. Marauder count, I want to say it's not that high, but we've got 14 Marauders, but 5 or 6 of them are on the other side of the map. Means that maybe Zealots can shine here. Do we have a couple Zealots on top of the third? Yes, we do. I mean, Trigger is such a warrior. He's going to show up right before this is a planetary, but the moment it is a planetary, we've got to get out of here. This is not an area you want to stay. Loses 1 Colossus, kills 14 SCVs. Can we deal with this army? Maybe a blink for the medevac. Can we blink? Too late. Starting to look more and more like Clem will still somehow find a way to win game 1, and Trigger will be kicking himself for that War Prison with 2 Immortals. Clem's so good. What a play to move those mines in the early game. Hello, Silnem. 4 Stalkers and 3 Zealots. I like that he has a couple of Zealots in the mix, because Clem has been leaving a lot of Widow Mines behind. The Stalkers can be very good in activating those Widow Mine shots and avoiding them. At this point, there is just so much Clem. Clem's got so much map presence. I don't know what happened here. We killed our own Stalker or something. Maybe we ran into a Widow Mine, Lord knows. What I do know is that this is not an army that can ever fight near a planetary fortress. Trigger does not seem to be very concerned right now with defending his natural. I mean, the boys are swinging. They're absolutely gaming, they're absolutely battling, but Clem has a 50 army supply lead. One thing that Trigger has going for himself is that he's got +3 attack already. Loses the Nexus in the natural. Has retaken one in the center of the map though. A sentry is basically always great. This has happened a few times to Clem in this game. But he's just not expecting to run into... Ooh, that's risky by the way. No, not again. Every time I say that's risky, he gets punished immediately. This is the opposite of a cast to curse. It is a Mystic Mech over here. Picks up a Colossus in a 10 HP Prism. That one dies as well. And after 15 minutes and 25 seconds of gaming, battling, action, it is Clem who takes the 1-0 lead. Oh, poor Trigger. Poor Trigger. So yeah, this game 1 was on the server that is better. I'm getting a message from someone. I have no idea who this is. I'm very curious now. Hey Kevin, wil jij samen met mij padellen? Ik sta op plek 34. Ben. Oh, Ben. I think I know which Ben this is. I think he's an old man. I like how he added his rank. He's like, hey, I'm a high diamond, low master. Do you want to play the league with me? Ja, Ben kan het best doen. Actually, I don't know. Before I say yes, I have to think about this. I need to think about the schedule. But it's nice. The locals reaching out to me after I lost my pedal buddy. Alright, so Clem has a 1-0 lead. And game 2 between our gamers will be played on Whispers of Gold. An exciting night, guys. 4 best of 5s. All 4 of them bangers. Including a TVT. Because people said that I don't give enough love to TVT. So we have TVT. I thought we would have Clem Serral. We absolutely do, mate. But that's happening tomorrow. Tomorrow at 1 PM. No. I think it's a lower bracket first. So tomorrow at 2 PM, there is Clem versus Serral. This is the Big Brain Bouts, not the same as the Lulu Cup. Exclamation mark B, exclamation mark bracket to learn more about this event. This is the law of Starcraft right now. Round 2, in the top left side, we are looking at the main base of the world champ, taking the 1-0 lead. This will be the only best of 5 he plays in these show matches tonight. And representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. And in the bottom right side, so close. So close to taking the 1-0 lead on US Central. Unfortunately, we had a brilliant plan with 2 Immortals inside of a Prism. And we threw a little bit. It happens to the best of us. But hey, that was a game to still get some confidence out of. This is Basilisk Trigger. Reynor crushed it today. Reynor against Hero today was really fun. But also really random. I sent Reynor a little message, told him, "Congrats, mate. I'm not sure how you did it, but I'm happy for you." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not totally certain why I won this one either, but we'll take it." Reynor beat Hero, or Hero beat Hero, or... yeah, I don't know. Whatever. It was something, mate. You have to look at the games. They both had one game where they looked amazing, and then it was just a bit of a clown fiesta. Especially Amygdala is a special one. The ultimate hero moments in a hero game. Hero is the only player on the planet that's so much better at the difficult stuff than he is at the easy stuff. Getting yourself in game-winning positions against a man like Reynor is incredibly hard. Hero makes it look easy. But then closing it out, which is then supposed to be the easy part, he makes that part look really, really hard. So obviously, guys, if Trigger was living in Canada, this would normally be a main event for me. But Trigger is living in Korea. It is 8 hours later in Korea, which means it's 20 minutes past 2 a.m. I'm not going to ask Trigger to play games at 6 a.m. That's just a little bit silly. So he said, just put me first so everybody can ask all night long why me against Clem was first. And I'm sure you have a great time. I said, thank you, mate. We'll do that. So that's how we got here. We'll do stir-fried penguin. I will keep on... the first round, guys, can be anything. Let this be a lesson that the first match in the Big Brain Bouts can literally be anything. It can be 7k MMR, it can be off-race, it can be 3k, it can be 4k, it can be 5k. It's anything. Nothing is set in stone. But throughout history, we've also a few times... if the storyline is good, worse players can be playing later than better players. It's also, it's not just about the skill level or who has peaked on the ladder or has recently won a tournament. Sometimes it's just about the story, the rivalry between two guys that makes it, for me, main event worthy. I also like the community games. I mean, I try, guys. I try to switch it up, try to keep it fun. We've been doing it for 82 Fridays, and there's no reason to always do things in the exact same way. But after that first game of Clem and Trigger, I'm not complaining. Reaper into 4 Hellions and Cloaked Banshee. This is the kind of opening that if you're not really ready for it, it could become really painful, and a single Stalker is not good enough to keep these Hellions out. Clem says, alright mate, you got yourself in a really good spot in the previous game. This time it's my turn. That's 14 probes. With a cute little move of dropping that grenade, bouncing the Stalker out of location. Yeah, Trigger in serious trouble. Trigger did not scout this game at all. He has played a proper Roddy game, where you just basically make nothing but Stalkers, no sentry, didn't even get a battery. Just said, no, I'm gonna try to be as greedy as possible against Clem, and that's gonna give me a good economy. Unfortunately, it did not give him a good economy, because we just lost 14 probes to 4 Hellions. That is incredibly painful, and that's going to make this a really hard game. If we have... ooh, okay. If we have stunning defense against the Banshee, I would say there is still hope. By the way, that is only one Banshee for now. Come on. No, no, no. Don't move it. Don't move it. Don't move it. Trigger, no. No. Oh. Straight out of the Interstellar meme. No. Okay, we do have a second observer, so that's good. Might even be better. Might even be better, because now Clem didn't see it, so it's all okay. Oh. Very quick Storm. I like the idea of going Storm here, because I think we have taken too much economic damage to casually play Forge, Zalo Charge, Colossus. So I actually think a game like this, an opening like this, requires something magical that allows you to win fights that you have no business winning. And that is something that Storm is absolutely capable of. Still looking bad for the man from Basilisk, but the defense against the Banshee gives me a little bit of hope. This is a good blink so far into the main base, getting an SCV, getting a Marauder, getting a Marine. We're not losing anything. One more Banshees shows up, this time in the main, but there is a battery there. We could land a feedback, by the way. I think Clem saw it. Move the High Templar. Feedback that boy. The one downside of this for Trigger is that Clem now knows that our man from Basilisk is open up with Storm. And that is obviously going to prevent a bad move out from Clem. There's not going to be a moment where 20 Marines are right on top of each other. And he's like, well, I should be fine here, right? And Surprise! A storm out of nowhere. So that's a bit sad for the Canadian, but it's all good. We have hope. Not too much hope, but I've got a little bit of hope. Clem is going to try to float over his orbital. Trigger is here with Stalkers just to slow this process down a tiny bit. Outside of the scan race. I love it. So funny to immediately put it in surveillance mode. Right outside. So that's good as well. Tiny victory. Observer does not die. What's the zealot count? It's not that high. Still left a observer at home to deal with this Banshee. I hope that Trigger sees it move. So far it kind of seems that the Stalkers are not quite paying attention. There is a shield battery in the third as well. He sees it now. It's a tiny bit too late, but it's alright. Got a battery here. Trigger clearly wants to attack though. He wants to see if he can force a fight before ghosts are out. Now those tank shots on the Stalkers are good, but here comes that Warp Prism. Can we land some absolutely magical storms? First one okay, second one really good. The third and the fourth one not bad. We have so much storm. Ay caramba, but unfortunately we overstormed a little bit on one side. Please don't lose the prism. Not again, not this time. It's good, but imagine if those High Templars would have actually morphed into Archons at one point. Man, I like the timing here. If you put it in surveillance mode, then it can no longer move, but you see a little bit more. Basically, you can call it the anti-F2 mode. Like this. Right now, you cannot move the observer. If you select it, right-click it, it does not move. But it has a little bit more vision than a regular observer. Hello, Aegis. Good evening this time. We're getting all three. The mornings, the afternoons, and the evenings. Impressive, guys, by Trigger that he is making this at least a little bit annoying for Clem. I'm not gonna say that Clem is in trouble because you guys would tell me, Ruddy, look at these to play. Yeah, well, I'm looking at it. It doesn't look good. But the good news is that we do have Storm. The bad news is that we don't quite have a Robo Bay unit out yet. Okay, well, we're gonna have to avoid the EMPs. Like Neo in the Matrix. Oh, Trigger. Okay, first Storm very good, but the EMP did connect on 3 out of the 5 High Templars. The additional storms, though, are good. Man, energy recharge is goated. Unfortunately for Trigger, the rest of the army is just so weak, so small. And it's also 0-0 for the Protoss. 1-1 for the Terran. It's going to be very difficult, but we have landed some good storms. Did we finally kill this stupid Banshee? No, we have not. Doesn't have a lot of kills. Has 0 kills, but is doing a really good job in keeping 2 Stalkers and an Observer busy all game long. So it's something, right? You guys have to all tap for an Immortal? I don't know. Didn't see. Game home. Okay, I have to snooze the ads very quick. Sorry about that mini all tap. One High Templar stormed a single Marine there. Should have thrown water balloons at it. Clem loads up 2 medevacs. Does feel that Clem is obviously playing this with the idea of A, I want to win, because it's still $60 for a single best of 5. But B, he wants to put on a bit of a show as well. Leaving some units at home, and he's definitely not messing around. He's not playing around, and he was in all sorts of trouble in that first game, but this game he's definitely in control, and he could have played it out in a slightly different way perhaps. But Trigger is also making it very hard on him. Because of that little attack early with all the High Templars, and even here, Trigger had so many High Templars. He had so much Storm that he's making me excited to play Storm. I feel like I haven't quite truly lived that energy recharge High Templar life yet. But I believe it's a good one. Is that a second star push for Clem? It most certainly is. It's got 2-2 on the way. Clem might just be waiting for that moment where he's maxed out. Terran armies in general get a big power spike once they have +2 attack, +2 armor. And they're maxed out. And the Viking count is high enough to make a couple of Colossus melt. I'm just impressed, by the way, that Trigger managed to become a 4-base Protoss. Legitimately good to see. And not easy. My vision is bad. My contact lenses are dirty. Perhaps we can drop a couple good storms here. Clem's army's a little bit split up. Nice EMP on the side of Clem there. That one flanking High Templar is not able to do its thing. And the Stalkers turned around and gunned down a Viking. Trigger is very heavy on the Stalkers, which sometimes is good, but can also be very bad. But if we land big storms, hey, we'll take it all day, every day. These few zealots that he has are definitely doing their thing, getting on top of ghosts. One ghost already died, second ghost died. Rest of the army a little bit overstimmed. There are some Widow Mines here for safety. Impressive game again by Trigger, guys. Even if he might not be winning, because it's so difficult to beat Clem once he's got 4 bases and 3-3 on the way, and he's maxed out double starport. I think this is the most difficult thing in StarCraft. Doesn't matter if you're playing Zerg or Protoss. This is just the most difficult thing in StarCraft. So I don't know if he's going to win, but he's definitely playing well. And after losing all those probes in the early game, makes you wonder what happens if he loses a little less. Clem is a Banshee from the very beginning of the game. Now shooting at an extractor. It will finally die, so that is good. Liberator sieging up. Stalkers trying to get some good shots off. There is a big bio army of Clem running on top of the 6 o'clock base of Trigger. I don't know if we want to recall. I don't think we can. Well, we could have, but we don't want to. Trigger says, you'll get a base, and then in return, I hope I get a base as well. He keeps on landing magnificent storms, but... Okay, and now he feels that he can blink forward. He can gun down Liberators. He gets one. He lands another storm. Archon's doing a thing. Unfortunately, most of the Colossus have died. The Stalkers have disappeared as well. The Planetary definitely doing its thing. But there are 4 Immortals remaining. And with extra Stalkers coming in, is there a world where Trigger kills the remaining units of Clem? He kills the Planetary. I'm starting to become a tiny bit of a believer. One storm would go a long way. Kill it. He kills it. But at what cost? Gets the Planetary, but at what cost? Save something. I don't know what. No, just fly back. Don't fight. Why are we fighting? We lose 2 Immortals, we lose the Colossus. That is a shame. Planetaries are too goated, by the way, guys. Why is it so freaking hard to kill a Planetary? And, you know, after you threw 200 supply to kill one, the next one appears. Trigger obviously lost his bottom base during all of that. Apparently lost his robo as well. He lost 2 robos even in this game. And he's now rebuilding 2 robos, but that's gonna take a little while. Yeah, and there will be 3-3, so the Terran army is going to be a whole lot better. It's also just so good against Zealots. It also pulls Zealots into it. Every Protoss unit somehow likes shooting at a Planetary. If you could just ignore the Planetary and just be battling, the damage of the Planetary is not the problem. It's just the fact that Protoss units always want to shoot at it. We do have a few Zealots storming into the 3rd base of Clem. But Clem's got an answer for that. Clem lands a little EMP and a couple of the Stalkers and the Archons. And it's starting to look like we will be entering a 2-0 lead. Trigger is playing good, and obviously that first game, guys, that was his. That should have been his. This second game, I mean, he played greedy, and I like switching it up. I like taking chances against a man like Clem. Unfortunately, he played the wrong game to not have a battery, to not scout at all. As 4 Hellions are just so deadly. If Trigger would have picked up on that, guys, with a sentry, and instead of having a Stalker here, you temporarily wipe in a pylon, he's flying. Instead of losing 14 probes, he could lose 0. We have seen Protoss players lose 0. Playing an even game against Clem is difficult. Playing ahead against Clem is difficult, but if you're behind, it's impossible. Almost impossible. It's the most difficult thing there is in StarCraft 2. Yeah, I already snoozed 1 spy. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and run some ads. It's very unfortunate timing, obviously, in the middle of a best of 5, but once an hour I have to run ads. And I didn't do it. I wasn't live for an hour yet, so I couldn't really do it earlier. It's just a schedule that Twitch sticks to. Sometimes I can pause it, and I pause it in games, but I have to do it now. Fun first game though between these two. Fun first two games. Game 3 coming up. You think the PF has 21 attack priority, regular fighting units have 20, but I'm not sure about this technicality. I believe it. I don't know why, but Protoss units just love attacking planetaries. It's almost better to attack like a mined out natural or a mined out third than a planetary. Planetaries just don't die. You should have seen the games last Monday, Silnim. Last Monday, Trigger was amazing, and he won the first best of 5, 3-1 over Clem. And then they had an ace match, and the ace match was a nail-biter. Like, Trigger did something very weird. He basically went 1 gate fast expand Phoenix into 4 gate. And I know it sounds like a total pleb build, but because a lot of these builds, they become more like counter-meta, counter-meta, counter-meta. So it actually... It makes sense, and it was so close to working. Clem vs Trigger, almost no chance, no, like 5%. Well, in the past I would have agreed, but after what I saw last Monday, I think it's a little closer. And these two guys, they play a lot of custom games with each other. And Clem said, like, yeah, he actually does really good. He's like, no, I do my best, but he wins a decent amount of games, so we can have a good show. But of course, in an official competition, Claymore is a different animal, but it is a good match. And so far, these two games have shown that. Like, the score should be 1-1 here. It always should be 1-1. It's not, unfortunate.
Round 3. Fight.
Let's hope we can turn things around as we have loaded into Ultra Love. The man who should have won that first game was so damn close. Can we keep it together and turn things around? Representing Basilisk, it is a Trigger. I'm sure he's pumped for the new Monday Cup. See if he can make it to another final, guys. And in the bottom left side, this man ended up winning the first edition of the new Monday Night Weekly. Like, he basically ends up winning the first edition of everything these days. But can he win tomorrow afternoon against Serral? That's the big question, and that is a series that a lot of Starcraft fans really look forward to. Representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. I appreciate the effort, Kid Colombian, but I think we are very close to our peak, mate. It's there's not a whole lot more to be gained than what we currently have. But I'm happy with it. I like peaking. This time it is Clem, by the way, guys, who's not scouting, and he's gonna go Marine first into Reactor. I would still recommend Clem to get a bunker, even if you have this ramp to work with, that you can obviously use to your own defensive advantage. Playing single Marine no scout into Reactor is really risky. We have until Monday, Pi. I think until Monday we can peak, and then we're gonna fall off a cliff. But I'm happy with it anyway. It's been a great month, man. Rome wasn't built in one day, but this has been a good month. Trigger is gonna open things up with a Zealot. There are multiple adepts. The first adept is pretty much almost here. This should be good, right? That Reaper is a little bit late. Reapers take a lot of time. It is almost out, but I like this. As long as Trigger can get the SCV here, can get a little bit... Shoot at the SCV, please. I'm surprised he didn't. Really wants the Marine. Gets the Marine. Is continuing to battle. Man, a nice micro on the adept. I'm a little bit sad that we didn't kill the SCV. We have a full HP adept showing up. The other adept gets saved. This one... Where did it go, by the way? Did it just shade it? No, it died. Where the hell did it die? Maybe it shaded deep in here. The Marine Hellion killed it. The Hellion killed it. So the low HP adept shaded back to the ramp, and the Hellion did kill it. But now Trigger knows there is a Hellion, and he's not afraid. He continues to have a good start. This is why I really do think that Clem should have opened up with a bunker, by the way. Well, now there is a Stalker. Stalker won't win the fight against Marines and 2 Hellions, but can continue to be annoying. Can continue to get some shots off. And at least now we know there are Hellions, so that is big. A Mega Start by Trigger. I would legitimately classify this as a Mega Start. Because Clem really wants this Stalker, but if it's one Hellion at a time, it actually takes forever. Don't know if this is really going Clem's way. I guess this was a low HP Hellion earlier. Clem has repaired it all the way back up, and now he really wants to stalk. He doesn't get it. Trigger saves it. Oh my god, find yourself someone who takes care of you like Trigger takes care of this Stalker. I love it. It's very annoying for Clem because he even repaired that Hellion all the way back up to full HP. What is the gateway count? I think just 2 at first, right? Yeah, 2 at first, the third one finishing up. We're gonna take the gas. We have a third Nexus on the way. I like it for Trigger, but it doesn't mean anything against Clem. Any other Protoss against Terran, I'd be like, oh, I really wonder how the Terran is gonna make something of this game because they've got late Stim, late upgrades, no third base yet. But against Clem, we don't even start that narrative. We're just hoping to see if Trigger can get further and further ahead, if he can continue to do things right and make something of this game. The Stalkers do get the Hellion. I didn't really like that move with the one low HP Stalker, but tank count is low, guys. We've got 2 tanks, one in the main, one in the natural. Trigger could run 1 Stalker forward to absorb the tank shot and then blink on top of the tank, but he doesn't want to do it. It's okay. Please no 20 kill Raven, by the way, guys. That is 1. That is 2. That is 3. That is 4. That's not a good start. That is 5. Jeez Louise. Now it's gonna be 7. Maybe even 8. Ay. Well, might not be a 20 kill Raven, but we got 7 with the first 2 auto turrets. They're definitely a little bit too many. There's no other way to put it. Even if you are focused on your Stalker aggression on the other side of the map, it is obviously late for Trigger and there is ping, yada yada, but 7 is simply too many. You can lose 2, 3, maybe 4 if you get unlucky with the pool, but 7 is too many. But Trigger says, I don't care. I want to go kill that tank. I want to kill that tank. Oh, and he one-shots the tank. Has the right amount of units. I don't know if he can get the bunker, though. Repair is damn good. Repair is really, really, really good. So Trigger's just going to have to micro kill Marines. Kill SCVs. Now, let's not lose too many against the stupid Raven. We've got a shield battery here. We got a shield battery here. We'll take that. Clem does have a third command center. And it's currently being upgraded into an orbital. Zealot charge is done. And he did cancel Stim earlier. So Stim is very late. When we blinked into the main base, we killed the tech lab that was researching Stim. If the Marine can... no. Please, Trigger. It's hard to spot here, I think. Because on this level, Ruptured Balls, a single Stargate and a single Phoenix is a really big investment. It's a lot of gas that they rather use elsewhere. Please don't. Hope we see that. I think he saw it. Based on his very cautious clicking there, I think we saw it. Nice way to sneak that in. Stim almost done, but not totally done yet. Tank is going to do some friendly fire to SCVs as well. Might even get a tank here. Not repaired too good. How? Why are there Widow Mines? Everywhere we go, everywhere we look, another Warp Prism goes down with a couple Zealots inside of it. And that's really sad because that takes away so much momentum on the side of Trigger. And that also occupies his Robo now, and he doesn't want to be building a Neo Prism. What he wants to do is build a Colossus. We have to be so careful here. This is a lot of Widow Mines. Can we split the Zealots a little bit? No. Not a single split was given. He did kill a lot of the mines, to be fair, but I still don't think that's a very good trade. We needed to keep these Zealots alive, and we want to deal with Widow Mines with range units, with that Immortal, with Stalkers. We're going to drop... Ooh, I love the energy recharge, but there's still a tank. This is a scary moment. And now you guys can see, like, this Colossus could have been out. If we didn't build the War Prism, the new War Prism, this Colossus would be out, and I'd say we are okay here. No, I really don't think we are okay. That second Prism just got killed immediately, so rebuilding that Prism didn't do anything for us. Can all the extra zealots make a difference? Well, the Widowman count is a lot lower now, so it looks like it. Trigger pushes Clem back, but Clem is still looking good here. He's up in supplies, building a 4th base. We've got a Widowmine drop heading out towards the 3rd. Trigger's got a shot, but it's looking a little bit grim. Losing 2 prisms in a 10-minute game, one with cargo, the other one for nothing. Trigger has a lot less map vision too, 0 observers right now. It is such a nightmare to play against Clem with 0 observers. He does manage to jump a little bit on his army, but it also means that the doors are wide open here at this triangle base. Widowmine drop is going to happen over here if Clem is paying attention. Clem is going to pay attention real soon. Trigger pays attention first. Clem busy. It was snipes a Colossus. We'll end up losing a lot of the medevacs. I didn't want to miss the explosion of the Widowmines, but there was no explosion. In the end, this wasn't that bad for Trigger. Sure, you lose a Colossus, that sucks. But he didn't lose too many workers here. I don't like this, by the way. This is a mistake. Because now the cannon and the shield battery are connected. There is no gap. And now the probes have to go all the way around. This also means that if there is a Widowmine drop here later, one mine can kill like 12 workers. Very poor positioning, unfortunately. It might even be worth to kill your shield battery here. I know that sounds sad, but... Losing prisms is a big deal because the first one was supposed to keep Clem at home. Was supposed to make move out scary. And either Clem has to keep units at home to deal with the prism, or he sends everything to the other side of the map and then the prism can deal a lot of damage. Or he keeps units at home and then the move out is less scary. So if we lose the first prism, we give Clem carte blanche to do whatever the hell he wants with his army. Rebuilding it takes away production time from the robo as well. So where you want to get Colossus out as quickly as possible, you cannot build a Colossus if you're building a prism. It's the second snipe, by the way, so that's the second Colossus that goes down. That is a really, really big deal. So for multiple reasons, it is bad to lose a prism. It's not the 200 minerals that really hurt you. It's the momentum, it's the map presence, it's the potential, and it's the robo production time that really matters. Like the arm later into the game, mate, if Trigger is on 3-3 and he's got 200 supply, losing a prism is not a big deal. Losing your prism at minute 7 or 8 is a very big deal. We are going to get a second robotics facility and a dark shrine as +1 armor is finishing up. Clem obviously is incredibly well set up now on his 4 bases. He's just kind of waiting for his 2 upgrades to finish up. There is a little shot for Trigger, but it's not more than a little shot. He's gonna have to play above and beyond. He's gonna have to create chaos. He's gonna have to make all the correct choices. Yeah, I think eventually we do need some either really big purification novas or storms. Don't think we're gonna get storms anytime soon, so looking very grim. I don't think this is a base that Trigger can really keep alive. Maybe he's baiting Clem's army a little bit. And Nova from very far away will not connect. Bar Prism keeps the first Colossus alive for a little while, but cannot keep it alive forever. Clem just has an overwhelming amount of units. It is the Widowmines connecting with the War Prisms that have turned this into a relatively one-sided affair in the end. Trigger absolutely had chances in some of these games. Against Clem, your robo units in particular are so freaking important in the early game. And can't make any mistakes against the kid. He is the world champion of Starcraft 2 for a reason. You give him a tiny bit of momentum and he's gonna run away with it. Unfortunately for Trigger, it was not meant to be today. GG gets called. Clem wins 3-0. So after losing 3-2 last Monday, Clem sets the record straight and wins 3-0. But it was still fun, especially I think that first game was really awesome. I enjoyed it very much. Hellscape, just a great map. Unfortunately for these two, this is it. At least Trigger can go to bed at a somewhat reasonable time. Now we're going to take a tiny step back before it becomes a lot more awesome throughout the night. But I'm still excited for our next series. Two guys that I am fond of, that I do like. You guys voted for Clem, and I'm really curious what you guys will vote for the upcoming series, because I think it's a very difficult one. So Clem wins. That is correct, right? Yes. Second series of the night, guys, is the little brother of Reynor. It is Baby Marine, the Italian Terran player, versus Dolan. BBB number 82. It is 80-20 in prize money for the second series of the night. Do you guys think Baby Marine wins, the Italian Terran? Do you guys think Dolan wins, the American Terran? Or do you guys think that it is a... Well, it can be a draw, but do you guys think you just want to give away some channel points? Just giving points away. I don't know. I think this is a tough one. Nothing would really surprise me here. This is one of these rare series where I feel literally all 5 options make sense. Nothing would really surprise me. I could definitely be impressed by some performances, but I don't think that a single score would be considered a massive upset or a surprise. I don't know if we're meeting on Europe or NA. So let me just go ahead and take a little look at that. It's been a long time since we have had Baby Marine on the Friday night. I don't see him in the channel, but I'm also still on America. I switched from America to America. That is pretty impressive on my side. Alright. I don't think I need to leave that. Ooh, they already hosted? Oh my goodness. Give it 2 min for the other casters. And then we are good to go. This Clem has been playing very well for a newcomer. Yeah, not bad there, right? For an opening series of the night, that Terran kid showed some potential. First game was a banger. It's a real shame about the prisms that just kept on connecting with the Widow Mines. Starcraft 2 is always a brutal game. It can be very unforgiving, but especially if you play against literally the world champion of Starcraft 2. 1 or 2 mistakes is going to cost you, but it's all good. I already look forward to the next Trigger versus Clem, because I think Trigger has shown us enough last Monday and tonight to get us excited for some of their future upcoming matches. Anyway, I'll take a little break, guys. By the time that I come back, it is time for that one matchup that people say I simply don't do enough. It is TVT. I'll see you guys soon.